Well, shalom. What is it? It's March 4th. President Trump is going to speak in front of Congress tonight. There was a blow up at the White House with Zelensky on Friday, which is awesome because now we see his true colors. There's a blow up, a trade war, so called, with Canada. I've been watching CBC all morning, and they're just all a Twitter. So I'm going to try and paint the big picture. Every country on this planet has been taking care of the United States, taking advantage of the United States ever since the end of World War II. Every country. And the United States, under both parties, the whole time, has seen fit to let it happen. And that's why you openly have organizations, U.S. government organizations like USAID, giving tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to terrorist groups like Hamas. If you really think that $100 million was going for condoms, well, please don't vote. The trade deficit with Canada is 200 to 250 billion. Canada doesn't have any military to speak of since the 90s because they fall under the North American nuclear umbrella. Same thing with Europe. And it's time for this shit to stop. And that's what this is about. You can't be friends with Muslim countries and have Muslims come into the United States who have an anti-Christian view of life and are anti-Western. You can't have people like AOC come into office as a waitress and a few years later be worth $7 million when the congressional salary is around $125,000, $140,000, $150,000, and then say it's because she's on the mashed potato circuit speaking. No, it's called insider trading. All of this stuff has to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is for people to stand up against it. Okay? So if you're one of the ones, and there are many of you, I am from the same sort of family who is like, well, it hasn't affected us directly, so it must be okay inside the Beltway. I would say God will hold you accountable. Sins of commission and omission. We finally have a president, and let's make no mistake about it. He went to Dartmouth. Vance, it was either Harvard or Yale. What I'm saying is all his top appointees went to these Ivy League schools. And David Brooks on PBS, I heard him talk at the ARC meeting, and he started out good, but he doesn't know or he doesn't want us to know. The fact is that American money, American taxpayer dollars, have financed child sex trafficking, fentanyl drug trafficking, terrorism through NGOs, and all the rest of it. And if you still don't want to wake up, what's it gonna take? At what point do the American people actually get angry that they have been stolen from and enslaved on every level by everyone? And you're scratching your head wondering, gee, why does Yeshua Meshiach have to come back in an angry way? The book of Revelation in the Brit Hadashah is all about Jesus being angry and coming back. Get that through your head. That maybe you're not in your safety and security doing what God Almighty wants. Let it sink in. And maybe it takes a disruptor like Trump and company to wake you up. We need this. It's going to hurt. It has to happen. It's better than going to hell. Fight the good fight of faith. Stand up against what you know is wrong. Stop saying, well, I'm staying in my lane. We almost lost this nation because of Obama, and then puppet Biden. Everyone is a parasite and takes from this country and weakens it. They do the same in Europe, and that's how you end up with revelation. It doesn't have to happen if we just stand up. So stand. Declare him as Lord and God Almighty. And don't put up with this. Don't put up with, they sent money to China. What do you know? The conspiracy theorists were not wrong about the Wuhan lab. They weren't wrong about all the people dying because of the COVID vaccines. They're not wrong that 36 out of, is it 36 out of 1,000 now? Have autism? I think it's 36 out of 100. But no, if it doesn't affect you directly, you don't care. Maybe the Palisades fires were a good thing because that is wealthy, left-wing, bi-coastal elites who have had to suffer the consequences of their own policies. Open the borders wide, let everybody have Medicare and Social Security, and then you left-wing elites, you go to your concierge doctors. But you couldn't get away from the fires in Palisades any more than you can get away from the fires in Myrtle Beach because you're screwed up, upside-down policies of all of this. Meritocracy in the United States is everybody who goes to these Ivy League schools. We need the shakeups. We need it. Take your medicine. Look yourself in the face in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I putting up with that I know if I talk to Yeshua directly, he'd say, stop. Millions of wage slaves getting 35% of their money taken away, going to God knows what. Doge is digging that up. The reason people are so upset is they don't want to wake up. They don't want to look reality in the face. You've got millions upon millions of people dying because of the American healthcare system, the American educational system. It's all done on purpose. It's a caste system. It's not a meritocracy. Everyone who gets a W-2 is a wage slave to that system. Who cares about the stock market if you don't own any stocks? You're not part of that. Who cares if there's tariffs? If all you can do is buy gas and eggs? You're already suffering. This isn't going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse for the people who found ways to insulate themselves up until now. And frankly, that's my entire family and people like them. And I, for one, have had enough. Out.